Today, let's take this exceptionally dull kitchen knife and transform it. This is an 8-inch slicing knife from Henkel's. Good quality, good steel, but I never use it and it's been in the back of the drawer forever. I think this would be a great tomato knife, but it is very, very dull right now. See, that took a while. I would imagine this is probably 20 degrees angle, as most Western knives. And I really want to change the angle to have it more Japanese style, so more like 15 degrees. So let's regrind this. Let's see if we can turn this into a brand new knife. Now, there are lots of different ways to sharpen a knife, right? I'm going to use my Tormek. It's over here. So when it comes to grinding and sharpening knives and chisels, one important aspect is to make sure that the metal doesn't get too hot, because it's tempered at this point and we don't want to affect the strength of the steel. Now that's why the Tormek is really great. It uses water, it keeps things cool. Let's get a jig. Let's see. Coarse, fine, extra fine. So this is their diamond stone. I also have the original grindstone here. And when you use the diamond stone, you use a little bit less water and you use some of their anti-corrosion concentrate. So with this knife jig, you can use this machine either with the stone coming towards you or against you. I tend to sharpen things from this direction. However, I know that a lot of people like to do it the other way, so I thought, let's actually turn it around. So most Western knives, they have about a 20-degree angle, and most Japanese knives have more of a 15-degree angle, so it is like sharper. Now, I was thinking, I kind of want to regrind this knife. Rest, we're gonna go. Okay, so to use this jig, this diamond stone is the full size. Let's do 15. Now what you're looking for is if there's any light coming through right there. Okay, I think we're pretty ready to start sharpening. Now, even though I am, I'm going to change the angle here, but let's make a mark so you can tell kind of where you've been grinding and where you haven't. Let's turn it on. Okay, a couple of things that I try to keep in mind as I'm doing this is, well, first of all, this is a rather long knife, so you have to move around a lot. So first of all, I try to make sure I keep this nice and stable, and I keep this like leaning against here at all time. You don't want to accidentally like bring it up or anything. The other thing I try to do is make sure that it's flat, it's touching the stone at an equal angle, like so you don't accidentally go where it's not touching the whole thing. And then the other thing that I'm trying to do is when you come to the tip here, you kind of want to go back with your shoulder, but that's the wrong way, I have learned. The right way to do it is to kind of bring your shoulder or bring your arm out, because that will create a more consistent bevel. Easier said than done, really. One thing I try to keep in mind here is to constantly look at the water line, because that is what will tell you how flat and even you are if you're getting water coming up on the stone all over. Wow, we're getting that new angle beautifully. You see the difference here? If I go with my shoulder back, it would be more like this. But if I bring it outward, that's more out. And I go in. like using the machine in this configuration where the stone is moving this direction when sharpening the knife, and wow, I'm just kind of blown away right now. I mean, the new angle is clearly established. It's supposed to coarse. Let's go through the grits. When removing the stone here, there's like, it's a little trick. Basically what you do is you just do this. You just loosen it like that, and then it's really easy to remove it. Okay. Quite a lot of metal has already... Wow, look at that. It's kind of cool to think about that if you were to take your knives, your kitchen knives, and get sharpened by a professional, this is what you would get. Someone who would go through this process. Oh, so cool. You can see the angle differently. Oh, here you can almost see where I kind of did it a little bit. I think the tricky part is really the when you come to the angle of the knife. Like, because you want to go like this. Like where you shoulder back, and then instead you should, you know, lift up, while not lifting this part up. And I think that is where it is. It's easy to kind of do it a little bit wrong. This was the fine blade. Let's do the extra fine too. Turn this knife into a brand new knife. I might as well go through all the grits. Like the storage on the wall here, when you're using the diamond stones, you don't change the grit of the stone itself with that additional stone. You switch out your stones. So you need somewhere to store them, and I wanted them to have them accessible so they would be close by. Now this extra fine one, it is so smooth. Hear how the sound is different on this one? On my right here, I have, this is their composite honing wheel, which means you don't need to use the compound. I feel quite happy about this. So shall we see if it turned into a good tomato knife? I happen to have a nice one right here. I think it is safe to say I never want to cut tomatoes with another knife again. It's like such a pleasure. It's just ridiculously sharp. And I want to make sure I'm not going to cut anything else with this one. The thing is, when, you know, Western knives have a different angle from like Japanese knives, and the steel on Japanese knives is supposed to be harder. Look how thin. Oh, look how thin. Like, you can hear the argument being made that the steel on this knife is not as hard, and therefore it's not supposed to have such a fine angle. However, I mean, it depends. Basically, it means that this knife the edge is more brittle now. But it depends on what you're planning on doing, right? I mean, if I keep this as a tomato knife, it's not gonna get dull very quickly, very often. So anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me while I transformed this knife into the tomato knife. I think it was definitely worth it going through all the grits and then doing the honing too. There's a link in the description to the Tormek products that I used. Obviously, I love Tormek. I'm Swedish, they are Swedish. Swedish quality products around here. So I really enjoy having them in my shop. So thanks so much to Tormek for working with me on this video. I don't actually want to eat this tomato because I didn't wash this, so there could be like metal shavings on here somewhere, but I mean, look at them. This was so much fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.